Alright, hi everyone. Welcome to the fourth, if I'm not wrong, live stream of Sunnyside. My name is Siavash. You guys might know me as Rainy in the Discord server. I'm the game director of Sunnyside, joined by the narrative director and producer Sydney, which you guys know as FemChef. If you want to say hi, you are unmuted. Wait, I don't think if you're unmuted. Give me a second. I blame this on streaming.
Always.
So there we go. You can say hi now.
How about now?
Yes, it's working.
Yay! I feel like the main struggle is always getting me on the stream.
I have the biggest problem with audio in general. Just audio. At any point in the stream, please let us know if the audio is too loud or too quiet, or anything in between. But hello, hi, welcome everyone. Hello to everybody. All around 55 of you. Happy to have you all here. I'm really glad that we could finally show off that track. That was the cafe's theme, Cafe Naka's main theme. We asked Matt to put that together. He banged it together in like 3-4 days, and then he decided to sing in it.
It was quick.
Yeah, and that's Matt's voice, actually, our composer's voice. So he's done a great job.
I'm seeing that I'm quiet.
You are quiet. Let me turn you up.
Why don't you love me?
You know what I hate about these software is that, it has the red bit in the microphone section, and my voice is always in the red bit. So I feel like I'm like clipping, right? But then I go listen to it, and I'm not clipping. That it's the most annoying thing. Anyway,
I'm gonna put my microphone right in front of my mouth.
Okay.
No excuses.
So we have a lot of cool art to show you guys. Our art team has been super busy in the past month, making new portraits, making new character models. We have about 4 new character models to show you guys that are completely finished. We have a bunch of new animals to show you guys that are finished, portraits, shop menus, and all that good stuff. And stuff. And then we have a couple of surprises at the end. So as you guys know, we're nearing our Backerkit release, so development is getting really tight and really what's the word? Stressful. I was gonna say
crammed.
But yeah, all of those
Crunchy?
words is happening a little bit. But we have the best team, thankfully, so it's okay. It's all going well. Just one note is that the Cafe Naka's theme will be available on SoundCloud a little bit after the stream is ended. So if you guys want to go back and listen to it, you can do that. And since we'll come back to this later, but our composer actually released his first album on Spotify, Apple Music, and everything. Congratulations to Matt. You guys, in the future, once we figure all the legal stuff out, you guys will be able to listen to all these tracks on Spotify and Apple Music and all that lovely streaming services.
You just totally jumped the gun on that, because half the people in here probably don't know about that yet.
What about Matt being on Spotify? Ah, right. Yeah. So what
we haven't announced that yet.
Well, we will get to that.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah, that was a tease for you guys. So,
and then, as always, if you guys have any questions, you can post them in the chat, but it moves fast sometimes. It's really hard for me to keep track of. So if you're not in our Discord yet, I highly suggest you go post your questions in there. We moved the QA question area right up to the top so that you can, find it and post in there, and I can actually find them. It'll be easier for me to... will the music be copyrighted? Yeah, it's all copyrighted. Are we going to DMCA you for using it? Absolutely not. So we are copywriting it. We own the copyright, or Matt owns the copyright for his music.
So far we decided,
chase you guys for that.
Even if we add music from Matt's own collection to our game, we'll make sure that it's not going to be strikeable, so that you guys can play with ease on your own streams and stuff. So yeah. We have a few business stuff to talk about, which are more interesting than you guys could than it might sound like. So I just wanted to reiterate that we have a publisher. We are like full steam ahead with them, with funding and marketing and everything. So Sunnyside, very soon, you guys are going to see the huge pushes and ripples for Sunnyside. So Sunnyside is currently... We're kind of what's the word? You know how when cats like want to pounce on something and they prepare themselves to pounce. That's pretty much the state we're in.
The little butt wiggle.
We're doing that right now.
You're saying we're wiggling our butts?
I don't know. But we're ready for that marketing pounce, and Sunnyside is gonna get much bigger after that. So we're currently working on a new trailer for what we're essentially calling a relaunch. So we have about, let me actually just double check. We have about 3.92k people in our server, so 3,920 something. And although that sounds like a large number, it's still not very large at all. So there's still so many people out there that just don't know about Sunnyside. So that's why we're going to make a new trailer. We're calling it a relaunch. This is going to contain the name of our publisher. You guys are going to finally know about them. This trailer we're going to send to absolutely everything. We're going to try to sweep as much marketing we can with this trailer. And it is, as I said, essentially a relaunch. It's going to have all new footage and assets and stuff in it. We are thinking of possibly changing our logo a little bit even for this relaunch to just, have a whole new coat of paint on the game.
Also, I'm going to throw this in there. I've mentioned it before, but I'm just going to say it again, that when we hit 4K in the Discord server, we're going to give out some alpha keys to some lucky winners.
Yep.
So,
how many?
I was thinking 2. I could be convinced to do more. We have them. We can use them. We need 80 more people, so,
800.
If you've got friends, sorry, what?
Wait, 800? 80 or 800?
I think it's 80. Is 800? It should be
820. Yeah, 80. Yeah, I'm done.
It's 80. Yeah, we need 80 more people.
Maths hasn't been my strongest suit. Sorry. Yeah, 80 more people.
So if you've got friends that aren't in there yet, what are they doing with their lives? Get them in there. Get them into the hype. Hey, Callum's in the house. What's up, Callum?
Oh, hey, what's up, Callum? Glad you could join our stream, yeah.
Actually, I'll mention that too, since he popped in. Another little business development thing that's kind of been happening is, if you guys don't know who Callum Upton is, he is a YouTube content creator who has been doing some really awesome work, uncovering a lot of like Kickstarter scams, going over NFTs and cryptocurrencies, and just kind of general gaming news and things happening in the industry. And in that whole process, kind of accidentally put together a gaming studio. And they're now working on an MMO together called Nightmare World. And it's a spoof off of Dream World. If you guys don't know about that, Google it. It's a whole thing. You can go to his channel. There's tons of stuff on there. But, he kind of started that at the same time that I kind of joined with RainyGames. And we've been talking a lot. And recently we just kind of realized that we're both learning at the same time, and we're both running studios, and why not combine forces and help each other? So we've kind of been helping them figure out some stuff for their game. They're helping us figure out stuff for our game, and we're just kind of working together. So go give Callum and his team all the love. Go check out Nightmare World. Go look at all the stuff that they're doing. They do devlogs. I think they're doing them every month, every 2 months. I don't remember.
So. Yeah,
I think it's every month. So yeah, go check them out. Give them love. Go watch all his videos. Go give him all the likes. I totally understand. Everything's accidental with me too, so I totally get it. So yeah. I joined the team as a Kickstarter backer, and now I'm helping run the studio. So life is weird.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best things in during this whole Sunnyside thing has been meeting all these co-devs and friends, other Unreal friends that work on their own games. So we started it with Charlie from Prismatica. He was a huge help to our game. Again, shout out to him. And also Callum that popped up out of nowhere again in his accidental game studio. And yeah, we've been kind of sharing resources between each other, and it's been fantastic. And I know Callum knows Charlie as well, so we're kind of it's just a little community of devs, and it's fantastic. I think one of the reasons that like Sunnyside has all that cool water making the ground wet and stuff was me and Charlie figured that out together when he was working on his own blood splatter thing. I was like, okay, what if I use this for water instead, so something a little bit less gruesome. So that
there's
worked
a
really
lot
well.
to be said for us all helping each other and supporting
Absolutely.
indie devs and working, because so many of us are new and we're working on things. It's better when we all support each other rather than seeing each other as competition. So, as for Callum's channel, you should be able to just click on his face in chat, and it should take you to it.
Yeah.
If any
of the mods want to,
link, you're more than welcome to.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
So getting back on track, we that all new trailer stuff, we don't have an official date yet, so we definitely don't want it to take over production. Production is number one focus for us. We definitely want to be able to make the game first and then market it, unlike some games anyway. So we don't have an official date yet. We're still playing with that, but we'll share that with you guys as soon as we do.
Kyle, who's clipping? Is it me or is it Rainy? He said audio clipping is starting to get jarring.
Oh, could be me.
It could be me. We both tend to yell when we get excited. So, anyway, so a little bit more about the publisher, and then we'll kind of move on. I just kind of want to reiterate that we are working a lot and working closely with them. So it's not like, oh yay, we got a publisher, and then they're not really helping us with anything. So the amount of work. So just to kind of break it down, the way it works is we kind of end up getting assigned some people to help us with stuff. We get a product manager who helps us with marketing and advertising and socials and things like that. And then we get a producer who helps me with setting up development timelines and all that. And they give us just kind of that extra boost of experience that we don't have. So if we need questions, we can go to them, we can ping them for help, we can email them, talk to them in Discord and all that stuff. And so both of them have been giving us crazy amounts of help, but our product manager specifically, who I can't really name or anything like that yet, but we have so much really incredible, exciting stuff that's been happening over the last 3 weeks that we really can't share with you guys yet. But the people that he has talked to and pitched Sunnyside to, as far as getting extra support and backing from other gaming groups, it's about as far as I can go without saying anything. But it's really exciting. And people are getting excited about the game. People within the industry are getting excited about Sunnyside, are wanting to play it, wanting to help us push it. And the general feeling is that the game is going to be something special and something big.
Yes.
And that's kind of been the general consensus among everybody, is that this is going to be a name that's a lot more common in households than like your regular like indie game. So there's a lot that's been happening. We meet with them every week.
And one more thing is that one thing that's kind of been a mystery to us has been console releases, and it's just a hard thing for indie games to break into. That's why a lot of indie games are just on Steam. And again, shout out to our publisher; they've been amazing. Our product manager, they've been helping on that front a lot. As Sydney said, there's a lot of groups and companies and stuff that we've just been in contact with. Some of them contacting us, which is just a huge compliment. And to actually be in contact with them and show them Sunnyside and give them all these lovely briefs and presentations about Sunnyside, and then them coming back with positive feedback with the game, is fantastic stuff. So we're super excited, trying not to spoil or share too much, but as soon as it's all out, as soon as we have our relaunch, we will be a lot more clear with all that stuff. So
we'll be telling you guys all. We just
don't. But that's all we're going to say about it
for now.
Yeah.
We can't, because even I'll have a tendency of like accidentally saying something. So we gotta. Well, that's all we're going to say about it. We're moving on. The other small thing that's happened business-wise is we've actually added 2 new QA people to the team. They're kind of on like a probationary period right now of trying to figure out how they integrate and how everything works and trying to develop a workflow. But we've expanded our QA now to 3 people, being run by Tater, if you guys remember him, Conlon. And it's going to help us really make sure that the game is at the very least functional, if not bug-free, when it gets into y'all's hands. So they're working really hard and stress testing the heck out of the game to make sure that it's in good working condition for you guys. So we just wanted you guys to know that we're taking that whole aspect very seriously. It's also something that our publisher has taken very seriously. They have their own internal QA team that the game will also get run through when it comes time for the full launch later on in the year. So I just kind of want you guys to know that we do take it very seriously. And for those of you who have Alpha right now and who are going to get Alpha through the Backerkit release on February 14th, you'll have access to RainyGames. That'll be part of the email not RainyGames, RainyBugs. That'll be part of the email that you get. And so you'll have access to RainyBugs. You can go in there. If you guys don't log the bugs, we don't know about them. So just kind of something to be aware of, to know that we're constantly working on that. So Doc's here.
I'm smiling, by the way, because I'm just reading the chat. No worries, Lisa. I'm glad I could figure it out quickly. Lisa in the chat was mentioning that the chat is a bit hard to read because the names are in dark blue. So I changed it to green. So that should hopefully fix that.
They're all gray to me. So.
Oh, really? Okay. No, I mean the names, but anyway. Hi, Doc. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. We have, thankfully, to the help of our QA, which is, as Cindy said, getting bigger now, we have changed a lot of the systems in terms of how you interact with them. We're going to get to them in a bit when we get to the engine section. We quite moved things around the HUD. Big thanks to also all the streamers that played the game. That was really great feedback. So when we released the streamer version of the game, we didn't have much of an idea of how all these systems are going to work together, but now we're in such a better place, and the game is a lot more complex than it was back then, but it oddly feels more organized because we just have a better idea of how things work. And how
people interact with it.
Yes, and another big thank you to all the Kickstarter backers that I have been playing and submitting reports through Discord or through our RainyBugs front over there. It's just all going to be super helpful, and thankfully, because we have a very, very good QA team, they go through all that RainyBug stuff, make sure that kind of filter all those reports so that the team doesn't get
inundated
under all of those reports, and they do a great job handling that. So that's everything on the QA side, I believe, Sydney, right?
That's all the business stuff.
Okay, so we want to show you guys some characters. We want to show you guys some character portraits. Hold on.
You're skipping some.
You're
okay. You're skipping.
We're going to show you guys some character portraits. We're going to show you guys some character models. But before that, something very interesting happened. After this break. But before that, our amazing composer that you guys just heard the Kafanaka soundtrack from earlier, he did release his first personal album on all the fronts, and we wanted to take a break in the middle of the stream and play one of his songs. We asked for permission. He said it's okay, so we're not going to get copyright striked. But
a little intro real quick about it.
Go for it.
Yeah, just because it was something that we didn't know about. Matt did not tell us about this. We didn't know that this had happened. And then he just kind of messaged us one night. He's like, hey, by the way, before I was doing Sunnyside, I was working on my own album that I wrote all the lyrics for and sang in. And, and we were just kind of like, wait, what? So it's exciting for us because we want to support Matt. He's been so great to us. He's made incredible music for us. And so the least we can do is kind of support him in his journey just as an artist. But he wanted us to be very clear that he did all of this before he joined Sunnyside. And then for the last year-ish, it's been in post-production. So it's been getting mixed and doing all the posts and all that stuff. So for those of you who aren't in our Discord, that dropped last night? Friday night?
Yes.
Yeah.
For some people, it was Saturday.
So for those of you who haven't listened to it yet or who didn't know about it yet, it is available on all the streaming services, on Apple, on Spotify. I'm going to drop a link here for you guys in just a second. And we really just wanted to play some of it on stream. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to take a 3.5 minute break and listen to Matt's music. So I'm going to mute ourselves, hop onto that bit of music thing, and then we'll be back afterwards.
Yeah.
Back
I mean, you guys heard it. That was fantastic. So he goes by the name Jellyfox on Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, and all that stuff. And there's a possibility of something that Sydney's going to mention in a second.
Yeah, so some of you guys kind of already guessed it, but we've talked with Matt, we're talking with our lawyer, and we're going to be putting together essentially a licensing agreement so that we can get this music into the game in some way. So whether or not that's going to be in a jukebox or in shops or on a radio app, or we haven't figured out how we're going to do the whole play music in the game thing, but this is going to be part of it. So
I'm personally a huge fan of centralized radio that is always playing in the map and you can just tune into it. So, but there's so many different options to go through. I mean, we have a phone in the game, so.
Yeah, it's funny. He put together that Jellyfox name before he joined us, so that was a pure coincidence. And then I think Ren is in chat. I think your logo is a fox too, if I remember right, because I think something with your name in French like means fox, I think, something like that. So yeah, we're all like foxes. It's super weird.
Lots of it's just unintentional, but it just happened.
Yeah, super unintentional.
Right. So as I said, we have character models to show you guys. So not just necessarily character models, we have character art to show you, and we're gonna start with the models. So I'm gonna switch to the window capture here, and I have the renders from Maya, because we've recently been playing around with our material editors in Unreal to get the lighting right. So instead, we're just going to show you the Maya renders that Alan, our super talented model, has been doing. And he's been modeling more than humans, let me just say that. So, the first one is Kaida. Don't say anything. So this is Kaida, and she is the shrine caretaker. She is gonna be she's romanceable, right?
Yes,
but she's a lot more than that in terms of gameplay, and we'll share more in the future about that part of it. But Sydney, if you want to add more on her.
Sorry, I read Callum's comment. He said accidental Fox Studios.
That's true.
So for those of you guys who don't know, Callum's studio that they put together is Accidental Gaming Studio, because that's kind of how it came together. So I like that, Accidental Fox Studio. That's great. Okay, so I'm talking about Kaida's model? Kaida's character?
Yeah, I mean, she's more your character. I mean, we've already talked about her, but I just thought maybe you want to give a little bit of a just quick rundown about her.
Yeah, so she is she's basically the shrine priest, but it's a lot more complicated than that. She's new to the priesthood, she's new to Sunnyside, and she's not really doing the whole priest thing the way that is normally been done, and she hasn't really taken up the mantle fully yet. So she's there, but she's not, and she's in a weird fluxy place in her life. So you're not gonna get the like cliche her wandering around in her cute little red skirted thing with the bow and arrow and whatever. We're not doing that. She's just a normal person who happens to also be the priest. So we're heavily modernizing the whole Shinto thing and trying to go, again, a little more realistic. But yeah, so you'll see her kind of wandering around town, kind of helping people. She's a little weird. People don't really understand her. She kind of tends to just watch people and step in and help when she feels like she needs to. And then she has her shrine duties that she does too. But she's pretty much just a big mystery to everybody. And that includes you as the player.
Yeah.
So that's as far as I'm going to go with that.
All right. So the next character we have is Yuma. I thought for a second that my mic was off all that time, but I don't think it was. I hope it wasn't. Anyway, Yuma. Yeah. So you guys were a little bit thirsty for Yuma, so this is just his face. So, and then this is another angle. And yeah, so Yuma is the person that owns the grain mill in town. Yes. He is, romanceable. Of course he is. Yes. He's quite old, actually.
Yes.
What was his age? Or range, maybe?
He's in his late 40s.
Late 40s, yes. Yeah. So that's... Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we try not to give you guys too much information about the characters because we kind of want you to have that fun experience of discovering about them and talking to them and learning about their life story and learning about their ails and their happinesses and things that they like and things that they hate. And we want you to have that experience. So that's kind of why we don't tell you guys too much about them. But yeah, what you need to know is he runs the grain mill. It's been in his family for a really long time, for almost as long as Sunnyside's been around. So yeah, that's it. That's all you get for him.
Danny, you're absolutely right. Late 40s is not old at all.
It's not
just
old,
compared to what's usually done in these types of games.
Yeah,
we definitely have a much
broader
broader age range.
Yeah, when you put it in relation to how other video games, especially anime, how anime treats age, generally anybody over a certain age in anime is unattractive. They're not considered romantic options. And so we kind of and farm sims too really don't really either give you ages or they just kind of focus on young people, and we didn't want to do that. So our spectrum of dateables is 18 to 51. I think. I won't tell you who's who, but that's the age range for dateable characters. So I don't mean to call you old, but old in relation to what you normally get in this genre. So,
Jesus Christ, guys, we need to calm it down a little bit. We gotta hide the TOS in a second. So the next one is Sebastian's mother, Hina, and you guys seen Narca? Narca was a restaurant in the past, and Hina used to run the restaurant, and this is her model. And she, whether or not she's dateable, we're still, I think, debating that. But it is a possibility. Hina? Yes.
I'm not going to say anything about it.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to say anything about it, but we're not going to confirm nor deny her being romanceable. But she's Sebastian's mum, and she used to be a renowned chef. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And that is her. Yeah, that is her full body model. There's a reason she's wearing gloves. Not going to spoil anything again. You guys need to play the game yourselves.
Yeah. I have kind of talked about the fact that, and it is in the game right now, it's mentioned that Hina has some physical disabilities that make doing her job as a chef a lot harder than it used to be. The gloves and her appearance really heavily play into that. She's also going to end up getting some special animations to reflect that. There are a few people on the team who suffer from chronic illness, even though it's not super visible. So we kind of just wanted to highlight that, and we wanted to show that these people exist and they're still functional, even if their lives are a little different than yours. So that's kind of the place that Hina's taking in Sunnyside.
And every time you guys had any question about the kind of direction of the story or the level of relatability or realism of the story and the narrative, this is a very good kind of point to reference. We do have characters with real life struggles, and so the story and narrative of the game is going to be a lot more relatable and real than just fairies and magic. So last character I have for you guys, I really need you guys to calm it down. I mean, it's Parsa, so yeah, I mean, Alan made this like 2 days ago.
Yeah, he's brand new.
He's absolutely brand new. This is him.
I'm very excited about him.
And he's our Persian Japanese guy. Not the only one, actually.
No. He's so one of the you guys have already seen all of these concept characters, but these are the models now. So hopefully, I mean, I think Alan did a really great job making it so that you almost can't tell the difference between the concept and the model. I think he's done a great job. I probably don't tell him enough because I'm very nitpicky, but Alan, if you're watching, you're amazing. You're doing great. And we're still working on them. I know he's still learning about shading and stuff like that. So this might not be the finished version. He might still get a couple iterations, but it's funny you say that, Callum. Callum said Goku Daddy. Actually, one of the inspirations for Parsa and his body build was actually Vegeta.
Yes.
So Vegeta was a huge inspiration because Parsa is very short, he's very muscly, and he's a martial artist. So yeah, how many Dragon Balls does he have? So Vegeta actually really was. I actually think I sent like 3 shirtless Vegeta pictures for his inspiration. So good job, Kaori.
You guys, yeah, our team's done great. So that's all for the models that we have. Next up, we have some character portraits to you guys. So to show you guys, these are the ones that will show up at the bottom of the screen whenever you get a dialogue. And if I close all that.
While you do that, I'm going to answer a quick question. True Goblin Queen asked, do we have anybody who's Japanese helping us make sure the game's authentic to Japanese culture? Who is Japanese? Unfortunately, no. I wish I could just go hire somebody and be like, hey, we need you on the team because you're Japanese. But we can't do that. So we do have 2 people on the team who have lived in Japan. We also have somebody who has a degree. I don't know if he has a bachelor's or a master's, actually in Japanese with an emphasis on the language, but also through the culture as well. And then myself and Kenna, our researcher, do a crazy amount of research. So we are doing our absolute best to make sure, without actually going there or getting Japanese people on the team, to make sure we are as true to the culture as possible. Because of the way Japan presents their culture to the world, we do have a weird amount of leeway because we're not doing anything historical, so we don't have to be reflective of that like Ghost of Tsushima had to do. We have a lot of leeway with the culture because they present their culture to the world that way. So we're kind of using anime as a baseline. We're also using a lot of like Pokemon, for instance, and you guys will get that reference in like 3 weeks. So we're using a lot of the way that Japan presents their culture to the world as a baseline for how kind of what we can get away with. And it sounds terrible, but long story short, we're doing our best.
Another very, very important part is that we actually had a discussion about this last week with our publisher, is that they do these things which is called the cultural sensitivity runs. It's not just necessarily for the Japanese culture to be tested with, but other cultures as well, but also cultural groups. So basically we do have a sensitivity run by an LGBT group to make sure that we're representing LGBT well and correctly, and the same thing is going to happen with the Japanese culture to make sure that we are representing it in a way that is okay, but also
at least not offensive.
But one thing that is very important, the game takes place in Japan, but we are also taking the route of what Japan does. So there are some games and movies and stuff that are very, very intertwined with the Japanese culture. So they can be almost like a reference point. Let me go to my face while I'm talking. It can be almost like a reference point to how the culture works. We're not doing that. We are taking the route of what a lot of Japanese media does, which is an iteration of Japan that is represented through their own games or anime and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they have a lot of things that are inspired by a lot of Shintoism, but it's also kind of presented in this very specific way. So that's definitely the route we're taking, but we're also doing our sensitivity runs thanks to the help from our publishers that do allow us to do that. And so no worries on that front.
We're trying.
Okay.
We're going to do our best.
Hanako, portraits. I see that you guys already really liked it. So since she's been up here for a while, you guys can see all the portraits are done. Sydney went in and decided to add a whole new emotion.
Oh, yeah.
So that's more work for Carrie to do, but he's shocked. No, was it shocked or confused? One.
It's confused.
And I have to agree, it's my favorite one as well. It's really funny.
It's my favorite.
So next one is Hina, which I'm going to just open now.
While you open that, just a little side thing about that. While I was writing the dialogue and entering it into the system and attaching the portraits to the different dialogue and stuff, I just kept finding that I really wanted a confused face. There were a lot of things that I was saying that I was writing for the character that I just felt it was really necessary, and so we ended up adding that to the list, and they are my favorite. In every set, the confused one is my absolute favorite. So love it.
I'm going to go to Kyle. Again, I'm going to also just mention quickly that Kyle is modeled and made after one of our actual Kickstarter backers, and he does have a wife and a child, so just keep it PG. He's romanceable, I'm afraid, though.
He's up on the
which
thirst.
is not
Be
helpful
respectful.
to him. Respectful.
Thirst responsibly.
He's,
As our friends over at Coral Island say, thirst responsibly.
I really like the fact that we decided to go with heterochromia. I think was it Kyle himself that mentioned heterochromia?
Kyle, yep,
Yeah.
Kyle wanted that. I basically gave all the citizen characters. I told him, hey, it's anime. Do whatever you want. If you want to have purple hair, if you want to have multicolored eyes, if you want to have spiky Goku hair, I don't really care. Do whatever you want. So, all the citizen characters are a pretty good reflection of what everybody wanted.
Can we talk a little bit about him and how he connects to the Backerkit Alpha? Like location-wise and stuff.
Yeah, I can talk about that.
Yeah.
So, if you guys have seen the concepts,
I'll open up his shop menu quick so that you can. Yeah.
If you've seen the concepts for him, you notice that he's wearing a mechanic's outfit. He is the mechanic in town. So he lives near the docks, and he runs the mechanic shop. He also runs the fishing shack. So, yeah. So I hadn't announced that he was going to be added to the game, which Rainy just did. So I'm just going to talk about it, because we haven't said who's going to be in the Backerkit Alpha yet. So, because I'm trying to keep it a secret. But yeah, Kyle's gonna be one of them. So you guys will get him in the Backerkit Alpha on the 14th.
Well, I said how is he going to connect to the Backerkit Alpha? He could have just said he's not going to be in it. Anyway, yeah, he's going to be running the. So he's going to be running two different shops that provide different services and different shop menus.
Yeah,
we're going to try to make one of them for the Backerkit Alpha. The other one has to stay for later. But yeah, he's a pretty integral character for the gameplay. As
actually, yeah,
kind of like a theme for our characters actually at this point.
Yeah, it started out with all the characters just, being characters around town. And then after we implemented Kazuki, and we really decided that we wanted the characters and supporting the town and the business to be an integral part of the game. And then it played in with the whole bringing harmony to the town. And then we just kind of decided to lean into it. So basically what your character is going to do is farm.
Yeah.
And take care of your homestead. And unlike other farming games, you're not going to get to do everything else. You're going to have to rely on the town and support their business to help support your life. And so we're leaning into that really hard. And
let me take it from here because I wanted to actually talk a little bit about it. So, the original idea was to have a crafting table and you can craft almost everything on, and then you're gonna have a smelting bit that you can smelt iron and whatnot, and then you're gonna pretty much be able to be self-sufficient and make everything yourself. So this idea kind of got shelved, and then as the game developed and the narrative developed, and because we want to work the narrative really closely to the gameplay, Sydney constantly had this idea of the harmony and using basically town and the player's farm working in tandem. So the first thing that we did was that we removed the smelting bits from being controlled by the player.
Yeah, that was the first step.
Yeah, to putting it in Kazuki's shop. So you go ahead and put an order for whatever you want him to make for you, and then he does it. As we kind of moved forward with the narrative, it was just a natural kind of evolution to make more shops with more services. So a lot of the things that the player would just be making themselves on another game are now delegated to these shops. And don't worry, I can already hear you guys talking about it being annoying or cumbersome to having to go and collect all your orders and stuff. We have already decided on a decision on this as well. I'm just going to say I don't think it's that big of a deal. Basically, we're going to be working the friendship system into this so that when you hit a certain friendship level with these shop owners and service providers, they would actually provide you with a delivery service. And so that you don't have to go and collect your stuff. Just put your order in, they'll deliver it to you. Yeah, kind of how Sunny Seed works right now, but you're gonna get more deliveries from more people. And this just kind of really brings the gameplay and lore together, which is a really hard thing to do. But I think this really helps. Crafting table isn't gonna go anywhere. It's still gonna stay. We're gonna push a building system general update after the Backerkit Alpha goes out. And that one will include all these updates, and it will kind of repurpose the crafting table in a way that it makes a lot more sense with this sort of gameplay. So that was my little detour on that system. But yeah, as I was showing, this is Kaida's portraits. I hope you guys like it. And right, we have some seasonal variations for our characters. So art doesn't end. So this one is Kazuki's first.
All the art.
Let's where did you put them, Kaori? There it is. So these are Kazuki's seasonal variations that he's gonna have. That won't be winter, autumn, summer. I really like the fact that he has like short sleeves during summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to make all the seasonal outfits at least make sense. So
this one is Sako's. And I just love her little scarf during winter. I think it's very cute. Next up is your favorite Natalie. And personally, I really vibe with her winter and summer outfit. I think they're really nice looking. And then lastly is my favorite. Lastly is Lucy. I mean, look, come on, guys. How cute is this? Her winter outfit is just the most adorable thing ever. Like
when Kaori posted that, Rainy lost his damn mind.
Let me zoom on this. For those of you who are new to the whole Sunnyside shenanigans, Lucy is Gabe's daughter, and she is romanceable.
To Danny, I actually checked on that. So we actually looked in on a lot of blacksmiths in Japan and different things that they wear. And we actually found some instances of them having short sleeves and forges. So, because I was with you, I was like, that's kind of dumb. But it's something that happens. So, justified. Plus, it's hot.
And lastly, I wanted to show you guys a compilation of all the shop art that we have so far. There's gonna be more, because we have more shops in the game. But this is it so far. You know what? Actually, just in fact, we decided to add a new vendor to the game yesterday. We decided to repurpose one of our NPCs to add a whole new vendor to the game. So, yeah. I think I made myself a little bit too quiet. There we go. Okay, so that is it all for our NPC art. But we still have art. And these are going to be the work of Ren, our generalist and modeler that's been mostly working on our animals. So all the cute animals that you've seen in the game.
Oh.
Yeah, so he made, you guys have seen we have goats in the game, cows and chickens, and he went in and made loads of variations for all these different animals. So here's an image of them all next to each other compiled. So we have 2 new types of goats, we have 2 new types of cows, and 1 new type of chicken.
Yeah.
There's a closer look at the goat ones. The goats are generally quite creepy, aren't they?
It's something that actually came up from the publisher, that the goats look creepy, and it's the eyes. It's the goats have weird eyes, and we could have leaned into really heavily into the anime thing and given the cute sparkly chibi eyes, which is how actually their concept art was done. But we wanted to blend in some of the realism, and when it comes down to it, goats are weird looking. Yeah. So our goats are going to be weird looking.
You know, I'm going to say, and no shade to the games that have chibi animals, but I am really proud that Sunnyside is a farming game that doesn't have chibi animals.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to hit a midpoint between anime, realistic, and non-chibi, and I think we've hit it perfectly. Well done, Ren.
Yeah.
Well done.
And also to our concept artist too.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So Raptor Lily,
fantastic.
Between
work.
The two of them, you know, she took it from realism to kind of that anime look, and then Ren's ability to just turn that into a 3D model has been absolutely amazing. Same thing with you know, all of our character art. Kaori doing an incredible job concepting it, and then Alan just pulling it off the page and making it into a 3D model. I can't speak enough for how lucky we are to have such an incredible art team.
I might be spoiling animals, but I just want to show Raptor Lily's concept arts that she makes.
Yeah, I've shown a few of them in like Kickstarter updates, but yeah, if you want to drop some new ones.
Yeah, I'm just going through them on stream. these are the concept arts that then gets kind of transformed into the 3D model that you guys just saw. So yeah, shout out to Raptor Lily for making us awesome looking animal concepts.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so tease the new animal purchase system. We don't have that in yet.
I haven't caught up because I'm watching the stream live with them, so I haven't seen which ones you shown yet. But somebody just gasped and said skunk. Did you show the skunk?
I did show a skunk. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I see here tease the new animal purchase system. We haven't finished that yet.
We haven't talked about it yet, but that is something that's gonna. Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit. It's something that's gonna be happening. Not really sure if it's gonna happen probably while the alpha is out, or if we're gonna wait until after. But for those of you who've been playing it, the animal purchase system right now is just garbage. No offense, Rainy. It's garbage because it's how other farm sims have always done it, and it's just a pain. Especially if you want to buy multiple animals.
That's the exact reason. Buying multiple animals is kind of a problem.
It's pain.
So want to try to fix that up.
Yeah. I kind of had an idea that I put by Rainy, and Rainy's been concepting it. But it's kind of going to be like a sheet that you fill out, like an actual order form. If you were actually to go to a place and like order animals.
Well, it's kind of like purchasing, but yeah, you have to kind of fill in their
like a purchase order. Yeah.
And all that. Good
so it'll be a little bit different. There will be foxes. I'll just say that right now. Yes, there will be foxes. Yes. Foxes as pets and as farm animals, no. And skunks are also not pets, and they're not farm animals.
No, you
I'll let you guys fill in what those are going to be.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but you guys are probably not going to like skunks.
No.
And raccoons.
You probably won't like the foxes either.
No. Well... maybe one specific fox.
Maybe some foxes.
Man, it's fun to tease. So, the next bit that is on my list is to show some of Ken's battle animations.
Yeah.
I can only find one for some reason, which is...
are you in animation?
Yeah.
There's a whole list of them in animation.
Really? Okay. Well, while you talk about it, I'll look for it.
I'm looking at the monsters.
Oh, we're not going to show that.
No. Just do the one.
No, I found them. We're good.
What we have been working on for the last month and a half has been putting battle system into the game. And we've kind of locked down talking about it because there's a huge part of the battle system that we really don't want to give away, and that's the monsters. We do not want you to see them until you see them in the game. So we are not going to show them. We are not going to talk about them. We're not going to tell you what they are. We're not giving you any information. You're going to have to discover it on your own, either through play or by watching other people play. So we're not going to show you that. What we will show you is the character side of battle. So we've got a couple animations we can show you. We're going to
I just went through them all.
Awesome. Oh, cool. Yeah. So these, I'm like so behind. So those are the battle animations. We're going to show you a little bit of how the battle system works. We're going to tease it a little bit without telling you too much. Because again, we want you to explore stuff. We're going to kind of show you a little bit of the caves, the level 1 of the caves, but we're going to try really hard not to spoil anything. So that's what this whole next part of the stream is going to be about, basically.
Yeah, so we're going to actually jump into the engine and do that. I have a task for you, Sydney, if you don't mind.
Oh, what's up?
Can you throw me all the Dorai images in the private chat?
I can see what I can do.
Lovely. So while Sydney does that, I'm going to actually open the engine and show you guys the changes we've been making to Sunnyside. So let's just go ahead and run the game. So unfortunately, I have to run it through engine, so it might be a little bit slow and stuttery. But, I added so many new things that I just have to do it through this. So let me just disable all the weird messages on the screen. Right. So the first thing that you guys... Let me stop the music there. So the first thing you guys are going to notice is that we have a completely... I wish. We have a completely new HUD. So one of the biggest things that came back from the what's the word? Streamer Alpha was the fact that a lot of streamers couldn't find a very specific place to put their faces.
Yeah.
We didn't have anywhere. It was just all full. So we decided to move the minimap to the bottom right corner of the screen. We've also changed the camera angle of it so that you can see a lot more of the map. It's a bit more isometric looking. It's wide. It's more modern looking. And we haven't done it yet, but we are also going to delegate all of the phone notifications to kind of pop up from bottom of the map. So the map is kind of like your little phone screen that is always on the screen, and your notifications will pop up from there, and then you can see all the bits and pieces from there. So, and as you can see a lot more in this map because of the way the camera kind of angled in there. Now
all of our streamers have a nice, big, beautiful, empty top left corner to use for your streams.
Yeah, top left corner. We're going to try to not put anything in there. Maybe some shop menus are going to have some stuff in there because they can get quite busy. But otherwise, that area should be relatively clean. We've also made the clock a little bit smaller. No reason for it to be huge in the corner of the screen. But one thing that is pretty important that you guys might have noticed is that my hotbar at the bottom of the screen is now 6 slots and not the 8 that it was before. And also there's a little icon next to it. So the inventory system is completely reworked. We in Sunnyside originally, because I was literally making a Stardew clone back in the day, had set inventory slots that you would have to unlock by buying a newer backpack or a bigger backpack. Sod that idea. We decided to go for and give you a crap ton of inventory space. So if I press tab to open the inventory, you can see that it looks a little bit different. So now, instead of one inventory, you have 6 different inventories, each containing 24 slots. So I have a backpack, I have a bento box, a harvest basket, a tackle box, a fishing basket, and a battle pack. Different items go to different inventories. So in my bento box, for example, I have a red apple. And you'll be able to see the category of the item. Should give you a good idea where it should go. Now, in terms of gameplay, the backpack is the place that you can put almost anything. So I can move the apple into the backpack, but I can't move the apple into the tackle box, for example. I can move it to the bento box. It should possibly also go into the harvest basket. We'll think about that later. But that's how generally the inventory works. And for the sake of making things simple for you guys, there is a hotkey to switch between the hotbars of different inventories. So I can go between the bento box, the backpack, battle pack, and I can quickly switch between them, and the character will hold whatever item that I have selected in that place.
So there is a downside to this. And the downside to this is we had to overhaul the entire item system. So the downside is that for anybody who has been playing so far through in the alpha, you are going to have to start a new game when we release this update. This update's going to come with the Backerkit Alpha. So we apologize. We hate making people start over again. But the inventory, the item organization was just kind of a mess, and it had to be overhauled. So, but the benefit with this system is, so the fishing basket's going to be all your fish. So, the bento box is going to be all of your consumable food that has like a spoilage counter on it. And it will kind of act like a mini refrigerator in your inventory. So the spoil timer will slow down when stuff's in your bento box, but it's going to be sped up when it's in your backpack, kind of like real life. So we wanted to make it so that anything that would normally take up a ton of excessive space in an inventory is now kind of delegated to its own spot. And along with that, we're making it so that you don't have to purchase extra storage space in your inventory. You don't have to worry about, there's no level up system for expanding your inventory. You don't have to buy inventory spaces, which I've always felt like that was just stupid. I don't think that making you worry about inventory space is a good game mechanic personally. So you have full access at the beginning of the game. You get all 24 slots for the whwe're probably going to make it that you have to unlock through storyline the different parts of it. So you might have to wait to unlock the battle pack. You might have to wait to unlock the fishing basket until after you get a fishing pole. Little things like that. But once you unlock that part of your inventory, you get the whole thing. So you're not going to have to worry about any of that nonsense. So the battle pack will have all your battle items, which we're going to go over in a minute. And honestly, I'm really proud of it. I think it's really cool. I think it's a really innovative way to do inventory management. And I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to play with it.
Took me a long while to implement, but yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Another thing that Another thing that I implemented alongside, well, one of the reasons that it took so long to implement was because we had to go back and change so much of it. But anyway, another thing that I implemented alongside of the whole inventory is the right click. So the right click doesn't just split stack anymore. If I right click on the softwood, I get options. So I can split stack, I can discard it completely, or I can just, that would just cancel it. Or sometimes you have stuff that are in packs. So if I go ahead and with the debug menu, add a pack of lures to myself. So this is how you would buy your fly lures now. Oh God, I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, I added 10 of them to my inventory, and because they don't stack, it just went into different slots. Anyway, but as you can see, there's an open pack option. So I can open a pack of them, and then I get 10 of these lovely fly lures, and you can see the fantastic model. I need to make it a bit more visible. But yeah, you can see the fantastic model that Ren has worked on.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff is going to be, you purchase things in packs. So we're right now in the game, you purchase the lures individually, but that's dumb. That's not realistic. Unless they're like super expensive, crazy special lures, you usually get a bunch of them in a pack of like 5 or 10. So we did that. So you're going to buy a pack of 5 of them or a pack of 10 of them and then open them up, and then you get all your individual lures. And eventually different lures are going to have different impacts on how you fish. So right now we just have the coppertail lure for the fly lures, but it's going to get expanded. So you might have 5 different types of fly lures, and then when you open your pack, you're going to get random ones, and those will change how you fish. So if you want a particular fish, you'll put on a particular fly lure onto your pole, so you get that particular chance to get that particular fish. So it's going to expand the fishing system without it being like you have to go to this place during this time of day while it's raining at night in a special weird location. We're not doing that. No. So
a few questions to answer. So Dan, no worries. That's how you use the tools in the game. Answer for Effervescent. Yes, the bento box you can buy currently at Naka. It's an item that they sell.
Yes.
But more places will sell them in the future.
Unless does she mean buying the bento slot?
The bento. Okay, so you get all these inventory slots from the get-go, I think, right?
No. Some of them are going to be unlocked.
Some of them are going to be unlocked. So some of these are going to be locked to begin with, but they will unlock through story.
Well, we haven't decided yet.
We haven't decided yet. So, yeah. And in answer to, I lost the message. Adrian. So, yes. Are you sure you want to discard? I'll probably add one, but also with a checkbox to do not ask again, because I personally would hate that. Some sort of control over that. But yeah, that's how all of that works. Now, do you mind if we do the Ofuda now that I have this open?
I mean, it's changing. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, okay. That's fine. So, yeah.
All right. Before we do that, another thing that we've implemented is the items now have stacks. So you can't have a million of one thing. You have no idea how much of a programming hell that is to have variable stacks for every item.
Yeah.
But it is in the game now. So we had to do a lot of calculations through like, okay, so what if a stack is full and the player tries to put another stack on top of it? What if it is gonna be full if they try to combine 2 stacks, but then the player doesn't have enough inventory slots? Just really, really hard to decide some of these things, but we finally put it all together into the engine. Another thing that you might have seen is this pack of Ofuda, and if I right click on this, I have the open pack option, but something different is going to happen if I press it. So let's see what is in a pack of 5 Ofuda.
I'm sorry, I was reading something. Did you explain what the Ofuda are?
Wait, no, you can go ahead and explain that because I need to open the other map anyway.
Okay, so sorry, I was reading a comment. Okay, so a little bit about what Ofuda are, for anybody who watches anime or is familiar with Shintoism or anything like this. Ofuda are essentially, they're kind of like prayer cards is really the best way I can describe it, which is a complete bastardization of what they really are. But within our battle system, Ofuda are attack cards. It's what you're going to use to battle within the system. And that's, I don't want to go into it too much, but you're not going to purchase them individually. You're going to purchase them as packs, kind of like Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And then you're going to open them and get kind of a gacha screen, which Rainy showed, or is going to show. I can't tell where you're at yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't shown it yet. But yeah, Callum,
so
that was hell, by the way. Yeah, go ahead.
So you'll get kind of a gacha screen, and then it's going to randomize what cards you get. So we're not implementing anything where you have to like buy special things with real money. We're not doing any of that crap. It's just a thing in the game, and you go and you buy a thing, and then it's going to randomize what Ofuda is that you get. So you'll learn more about the system as you go through, and as you play it, and they will stack with each other based on what kinds of Ofuda they are. But yeah, so honestly, the sequence that Rainy put together is just so cool, and we just really wanted to show it to you. So that's what we're going to show.
So, for some reason, I got crap cards. In any case, yes, so when you have a pack of Ofuda, you need to open it. It's kind of like Pokemon cards, and you get a random number of cards, but not a random number, but you get a random set of cards. You can either have 3, 5, or 7 of them. And yeah, that's you right click on it, you open a pack, and then it will show you all of that stuff. You can do a quick reveal, or you can click on each one of them if that's your jam. And don't worry, we're gonna add a quick open option as well that will just put it into the inventory and will not give you the sequence eventually. Now these cards each have very specific attributes to them. So again, not without giving too much away about the battle system, as you guys can see, there's an elements to each one of them. So this one's fire, this one is wind. There is a range to them, there is a multiplier to them, there's a special attack that they would cause. Yes.
They're not buffs, though.
They're not buffs.
So I just want, these are your attacks.
These are your attacks, yeah. So the way Sunnyside works is a little bit different from the other turn-based JRPGs. You don't have attacks that you kind of, like your Pokemon knows or your Persona knows. You have cards that you use and discard after, and then it will be the attack that will then play out. We'll have something else that is not an Ofuda planned for the buffs and the debuffs and all of that stuff. So don't worry, you're gonna have your shield up and all that.
So we actually have 4 different items that are going to.
Let me open some more of these while you explain that.
Yeah, so we have 4 different items that are being pulled from Shintoism that you can buy at Shinto shrines now if you go visit them. And we're just kind of turning them into battle items. So some of them are actual attack cards like the Ofuda. Some of them are charms that you wear that are going to give you bonuses or debuffs or things like that. Others are like one-time use things that'll give you buffs. So it's not really a deck builder because you're not building decks. So honestly, it's not really comparable to anything, which makes it really hard to explain. But it's going to be one of those things that you're going to have to play it and see it and use it, and then it's just going to kind of make sense.
God damn it, Kyle.
But the best, so we were really worried about making sure that we weren't messing with Shinto too much. So I did make sure that there was a kind of a precedent of Ofuda being used this way. And if anybody's ever watched Sailor Moon, I think it's Sailor Saturn, Neptune, I forget who it is, but one of them legitimately has an Ofuda attack. I forget which, I didn't watch Sailor Moon, but there's somebody in Sailor Moon who was like a shrine priest or something. And she uses an Ofuda in one of her attacks. So there's a really cool clip of it. If you can literally just Google Sailor Moon Ofuda attack, and it'll kind of show you kind of what we're going for. And it's really cool. I think.
Yeah. Some questions to answer quickly is that will we be able to, Marie asked, will we be able to have different combat builds then, and how does that whole thing work? So as Sydney said, it's not really a deck building. To a level, maybe. Basically, everything that you put...
Mars,
everything...
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Everything that you put in your battle pack, when you go into a fight, you're going to have access to. So you don't need to necessarily build a deck, but I guess in whatever you put in your inventory is kind of building your deck, because at the end of the day, Ofuda cards are inventory items. So you can put them in storage and then build yourself a deck in your battle pack and then take that with you into the caves. Now, the cards, yes, Doc, the cards are one-time use, so they will go away after you use their attacks, which is kind of how we'll limit you, so that you can't go on a rampage and just finish everything in one go.
And you can't buy a ton of them.
So you can kind of see this as a limitation, same as how SP works in Persona, that you run out of your special attacks. Now, again, just like Persona and some Pokemon games and other JRPGs, you have a different type of attack that doesn't really run out, but it has its own consequences. So yeah. These are one-time use. Whatever you put in your inventory will be pulled through a fight. And yes, you can decide how many Ofuda cards you want to put in your battle pack, how many of the other ones with the buffs and all that stuff. Can I say the name of that one?
Yeah, you can say all four of them.
Yeah, it's okay. So we have, actually, I'm going to say the two last one. I'll show the images. We have Ofuda and Omikujis. These two are in the form of a card. Now, Omikuji looks a little bit different, but Omikujis are basically your buffs and debuffs. So, defense up, attack up, null, whatever. And then Ofudas are
also one-time use.
They're also one-time use, yeah. Ofudas are specifically attacks. And you can place them in your battle pack, and that's how that works. So if I continue this, another really important point is that the battle pack, all these Ofuda cards and Omikujis, you can have a stack of maximum of 10 of them. And because there's so many different types of them, and different types of Ofudas do not stack, you're not really gonna have that much space in your Ofuda deck. So yeah, but don't worry, fun is definitely number one thing for us. So we'll make sure that it is fun.
To answer Dan's question real quick, are there high tier versions? Yes. So Ofuda will actually be made out of 5 different materials.
These are only wooden ones right now.
Yes, these are the wooden ones. There's going to be paper, cloth, wood, metal, and gemstone Ofuda, and that's going to change its durability, how many times you can use it.
Actually, that's a good point. Some of them are not one-time use. Some of them can use a few
Some
times.
of them are 2 or 3. It'll change what the attack multiplier is. It'll change how heavy the attack is. So there's going to be a lot of different variations on the whole Ofuda system. And so you can kind of, the ones that are higher tier, you can save for the boss fights. And so there's a way that you can kind of build it so that it works for you, but you're limited to your 24 slots in your battle pack. And if you want to put them in your backpack, I guess you could do that, but they wouldn't be accessible during battle. So you'd have to play with that when you're in the caves and stuff.
See,
but
just very intuitive system.
We're excited about it. So you've got the Ofuda, the Omikuji, and then those are your one-time use things, and then you have your... We're not doing armor in the game. We're not doing clothing. We're not doing helmets or boots or any of that stuff. We're anything that's going to change your defense or a constant boost to your attacks are going to be through what we're pulling from Shinto, which are Dorai and Omamori. And so Dorai are really cute little animal clay bells, and then Omamori are little charms.
These are ours that Ken, our modeler, has made, and they look super cute. Yeah, so these work the same way. They're equipable. So you can imagine, again, if you played other JRPGs, you can imagine one to nullify all fire attacks. You can imagine one to resist all air attacks. Because another thing, beside the material that the card is made out of, is the element of that card, which was very visible through the images. So we have fire, air, water, and earth. And yes, we're going to definitely go with a system that some bots have weaknesses to them, some bots are strong against them, and that's actually what our whole cave system is built around, these 4 different elements.
And how adorable are these Dorai?
These are
they're cute. So cute.
Yeah.
He did such a great job. And they're charms, so they'll have little hoops on them that you can tie them to things, either you or your weapons or Sparky, who's going to be in the caves with you, or maybe your drone or your friends.
Let me quickly answer the question that Liz asked, which there are. So are the different cards the same always, like the green one do the same thing? So no, that is the element of it. If you look, when you hover over it, you get a name here. So each card is then connected to an action, and the actions are very, very different. So one of them can be a very specific type of attack. The other one can be like, okay, one can be just a single fire attack. The other one can be like a lava attack that damages them and burns them a few times. So the way you're going to differentiate that would be with the name. So the name over here is going to tell you what the attack is, what the action attack is. The image is going to tell you the element. Obviously you can see the material, and these we're just going to tell you the little attributes you need to know about the cards. So we try to make it as intuitive as we could. Still going to tweak it a little bit, but yeah, the name of the card up here will tell you what kind of, so like Blaze is like an action, it's like a singular fire attack, and that's how all of that works.
Yeah, I think we've shown as much as we can without ruining the whole system for everybody.
Yes. And just, I'm going to reiterate, and I'm sorry, this might upset some of you, but in the Backerkit Alpha on release, we are only going to have Ofudas. So Omikujis aren't going to be available.
Not quite done yet.
Dores and Omomoris aren't either. So just going to have the Ofudas. But you can fight. The battle system is definitely going to be part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to show the caves first, or do you want to show the shrine first?
Let's go through the cave, because we've been talking about that actually. So over here, before I go into the caves, you can see these new items. We have what are called caches. If you want to give the intro, Sydney.
Yeah, so we were kind of racking our brains about what we wanted to use to as loot boxes. Loot box is such a dirty word.
It is. Chests, let's call it. Loot chests.
Yeah, so loot chests. So, when you're going through the caves and you find random stuff, we wanted it to be in something cool that made sense to the environment. And you guys kind of know by now that I'm a huge stickler for making sure that everything makes sense to the narrative of the story or of the game. So we wanted the chests to make sense. We didn't want them to just be chests on the ground, because it's weird for this particular game. It just wouldn't make sense. So Rainy kind of went hard and made some really awesome looking chests that honestly, when you just look at them out of context, make absolutely no sense now that I think about it.
Yeah.
They have no context for this, but they're really cool looking. I'm super excited about them. So we're calling them caches. So you've got a few different types.
And we want you guys to discover how it is opened. Some of them, as you can see, are inactive or closed. And you need to do something specific to open them. Again, I'm not going to say anything. It's pretty obvious when you actually go into the game. But otherwise, you have a cache that you can open up. So these are the open ones. You can see the light doesn't flicker in red. The little connection is established in the corner. And also, anything that has an item in it will have the glowy bits going up of it. So if there's an empty cache and you've already looted it, you don't need to worry about that. If you can't see these bubbles up going above it, then you're fine. We're probably also going to make the caches pickable only, so you can't deposit items into it. You can just pick from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how the caches work. Now let's give you guys a little bit more context by opening the first level of the caves. This is the work of Kai. He's been helping us with level design. And this might take a while, and I blame Unreal Engine. So
it's okay. I'll talk while you're doing it. So we've mentioned in the past, but I just want to reiterate. So the current level of the caves in the game is level 0. So when we say level 1, you guys haven't seen that yet. That's the next level of the caves. So I just kind of want to be clear about that. So level 0 is what's in the game now. Level 1 is what Kai has been working on. It's been built. It's been mostly decorated. We've got a little bit more to do. We still have to add the caches into all the relevant spots, and then Rainy wants to show you the doors, which are cool.
So in addition to the caches that can be opened in a specific way, we have doors that can be opened the specific way. So this one is the gate that goes to the boss room. This one specifically has a very different way of opening, which works through narrative. But you can find these kind of blocked areas that you can open via a mechanism. And the way we made it, I think, is really intuitive and kind of different from every other game. So you can even cheat it in a way if you manage and plan well ahead. But other than that, I'm actually going to just go around a little bit and show the rest of the caves. Now, these caves are super dark because we haven't done the lighting. So I'm going to go into unlit mode, which is it's in Source Engine. It's called All Bright, right? So there's no lighting, and you can kind of see how the level is constructed. If you want to give any more info, Sydney, or answer questions while I do this for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't see what you're seeing, unfortunately. That's the problem with me being behind. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't have context. Yeah. I can answer a couple questions. Somebody asked real quick in the stream QA and the Discord if the Ofudas will be repairable like the gemstone ones. The answer is no, because the gemstone Ofuda will only have like 2 uses, maybe 3 tops. We're not doing durability. That's not really how they work. It's more like charges. So just kind of be clear on that. I'm trying to think. Are there any other questions? Did you run through the caves?
I am running through them, yeah.
You were not supposed to do that.
Well, it's not like I'm giving a top-down view. I think it's fine.
I guess it's fine. I guess it just says enemy, so it doesn't really say anything. No. And you showed the door?
Yes, I've already shown the door. So we're done on that side. Right. So we can actually go back onto the mountain map, the main map that we have. We call it mountain. That's on me. To show you what Sydney's been up to.
Effervescent asked the question.
What did she ask? What
can you take fall damage? We're still arguing about this.
Okay. So yes. So you don't take fall damage, but you will ragdoll if you fall from a really high place. And
which
actually, no,
I'm still fighting against.
I'm gonna reiterate. If you fall from a really, really high place, we probably are gonna give you some sort of penalty. I'm still fighting about this with Sydney, but we're probably gonna take your stamina away or something like that because you don't really have. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of jumping off of things in games. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love to go to the highest point and jump off of it. It's my favorite thing to do in my time at Porsche. And so I'm actively fighting against anything that's a penalty for jumping. So we're still fighting about it. We don't have an answer.
I'd say ragdoll definitely. Damage, still thinking about it. And Callum, definitely SAO, right? That door is very SAO vibes.
Yeah.
So, you guys ready to go see the shrine then? I'm just going to walk there.
The music snippet first?
Yeah. Yeah, fine. So I'm going to give you guys a little... I'm not going to open the map again because it will take ages. But you're going to kind of see the shrine from behind the trees. Matt has actually made like 3 or 4 soundtracks you guys have not heard. So we were going to give you a little snippet of the first level's track when you're exploring. Because it'll be different when you're fighting.
Just a snippet. Just a taste. Just a tease.
Yeah. Let me make sure I have the latest version though. I'm gonna mute the desktop for a second while I double check that because he did make some changes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna answer some questions. There's not like there won't be any way to really influence what cards you get out of the deck. They're just gonna have random pulls. So you buy a pack, you get what you get. And we're going to test it. I should mention that. We're going to test the heck out of this battle system. We haven't fully finished it yet, but we're going to test it. So if we go through gameplay and people don't like certain aspects of it, we're going to change it to make it more fun. So I can't say anything's really super definitive, but as of right now, the only plan is that you're gonna get the randomization from the opening the Afuda packs, and that's it. And there won't be a whole lot of ways to influence that, but that could change. As far as gliders or anything like that, we kind of decided early on we didn't want to do anything like that. There are a lot of games that are pulling that mechanic in right now, and our kind of number one motto is to not do what everybody else is doing. We want to try to be as unique as possible, and sometimes that comes across as us like making fun of the genre or making fun of other studios, which, I mean, I guess in a way we kind of are, but it's more that it's really important to us that we be front runners and change makers, and we don't want to do things just because it's what has always been done. I feel like there are a lot of things, especially in this genre and in a lot of other genres, I think first-person shooters are guilty of this too, we'll just kind of do the same thing that's always been done because that's how it's always been done, and nobody stopped to ask, why do we do it this way? And as a studio, we've taken it on ourselves to stop and say, why do we do this way? Why do we have a watering can? Why do we have a delivery box? Why do we have, all these things? So sometimes, yeah, it sounds like we're kind of like making fun of the genre. And I guess kind of in a way we are. But what we're making fun of is the idea of just going with the flow. Whereas we kind of want to, carve our own path, challenge that status quo, and try to present something unique and fun. So, long story short, no gliders.
Okay. To answer the question from Katana, will the monsters attack in our farm? No, they're only in the caves. And yeah, just call them ancients. They're not really monsters.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the official term. It's just ancients.
The ancients.
Right. So I'm just gonna give you guys a snippet now. One really important note is that this is not finished, and there's gonna be real saxophone being played on it. So currently it's just a MIDI sax for when the saxophone should go. But otherwise, I'm gonna play it.
Just a little bit.
Well, I wanted to hit a very specific point, so I'm gonna play it until that point.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, I think that's that much is enough. I was actually 1 minute.
Awesome. Oh
wow. I've been told that my upload speed might be making the video a little bit slower, so the music might sound a little bit slower than it should have. And Doctor, absolutely Stranger Things vibes. That's the first thing that we said. And Matt was like, should I change it? And we said, nah, it's fine. It's fine.
We actually kind of decided to lean into a little bit. Again, we only played the intro. Or a specific part of it, and once you get past that part of it, it definitely pulls out of that Stranger Things vibes. But we decided to lean into it because of the environment we're trying to create, and I can't really say much more than that. Yes. But there's a reason. There's a reason.
So I'm gonna quickly go to where the shrine is.
Yay, shrine.
And this is Ken made the models, I textured them, and Sydney put it all together on the map. So
teamwork.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in here with the players so that you can kind of see the scale. So that's
and it still needs a little bit of work.
It still needs work. Like it's still missing a few models. Like we're still missing the door over there. There's gonna be like a few bits that you can interact with that we haven't fully done yet. But I'm just gonna go around it a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, are there any more questions? Battle skunks.
So let's just actually have a few aerial looks as well, because it was a little bit dark at 6 o'clock in the morning. But this is the whole vibe of the place, really. And it is missing a few things. I think the game might have been a bit too loud there, sorry. I think the next thing I can talk about is how this works into gameplay. But before I do that, if you want to mention anything else about the actual place itself.
So the amount of research that we did into Shintoism is extensive. Kenna did a ton of research. I did a ton of research. We double checked all the research, and then I did what we do best, and I went into Google Earth and I went and checked out all of these actual Shinto shrines all over Japan to make sure that we were doing this right, to check all the different variations on the layouts, to make sure we weren't breaking any rules or codes or anything. And so hopefully I got it right. If somebody from Japan comes and says, hey, you mess up this thing, I will absolutely listen and change things. But I'm hoping we did a really good job. So there are a couple different parts to a Shinto shrine, some of them more important than others. Everybody's pretty familiar with the Torii Gate. The path that leads up to the shrine is also very important. That first building that you interact with is kind of meant really for the people, as kind of a prayer spot. And then that tiny building that's up a little bit higher and surrounded by a fence has a very particular title. I'm forgetting it right now, and I don't want to butcher anything. But it's Haiden is the shrine building up front. And I forget what the one in the back is called. But the long story is, or the short story is, that the Shinto believes that different spirits representing different parts of nature live in different parts of nature. So if you have an abnormally large oak tree like ours, or a really specifically large stone, or a big waterfall, or a really large lake, different parts of the environment are kind of believed to be I'm going to mess this up, so I'm going to apologize in advance. But they're basically linked to a spirit. Thank you. Handen is the little building. They're linked to a kami, or a spirit. And that little house, the Handen, is where that kami spirit actually lives. So it's a special little place just for the kami. And it's only generally accessed by the shrine priest. So the player's actually never going to go into those gates, but we still wanted to make sure it looked right. So Ken did a really good job. I went and took a bunch of pictures of real shrines, and we tried to make sure that we got as close as we possibly could without offending anybody. So there's a whole bunch of different parts to it. You've got the little fountain on the left, which is where a person would kind of cleanse themselves before they enter the area, and I could go into this whole thing and kind of teach it, but I don't want to take too much time.
We should.
But the long story is, the short of it is, we did our best to get as close to what a shrine might have actually looked like. So, will any of this history or culture be taught in the game? Honestly, probably not. Only because this is common knowledge in Japan. Although
I think Kaida's gonna probably
Kaida will drop some information, but there's not gonna be like a walkthrough or anything like that. What will be explained is that giant oak tree.
Yes,
and its purpose.
So yeah, the giant oak tree has a purpose, and it what is one of our design philosophies for the game is to, whatever we have the player interact with, specifically UI, we want it to kind of be part of the world. So and it had a name, I think it's called I forgot what it was called when your UI is part of the world, not meta.
Oh yeah,
the other one,
diegetic. There's a word for it.
We like to have our UIs be as diegetic as possible, which is why we have the phone, for example, and the drone. But we now one word, skill tree, and then oak tree. So we kind of wanted to thank you for the TED Talk, Sydney. So we wanted to kind of do what a game like Skyrim did. So you've seen how in Skyrim you have, when you open your skill tree, it's like constellations, and then you kind of get a star for unlocking different bits of it. I love that. And I think we wanted to kind of adopt that for Sunnyside. So we pulled the inspiration from there and more stuff, and we decided to have our skill tree be the oak tree. And the way you check your skill tree or, unlock new skills and stuff is by going and praying at the shrine. And then I'm still working on this part of it, but we want the camera to kind of literally go onto the tree, and then the UI to show up on the tree itself, and then different parts of the tree will be different sets of skills that you can unlock. And the way it's tracked, I can talk about that, is tracked actually very similar to how a lot of Western RPGs do it. So the more you do a task, the more XP you get in that area. And then you unlock these skill points that then you can go ahead and purchase different skills on the tree itself. So that's how that whole thing's gonna work. If you want me to explain,
that's about all we're gonna tell.
Yeah.
No, that's all we're gonna tell them. That's all you get. But yeah, it's a literal skill tree.
It is a literal skill tree.
The kind of idea is because I know we've mentioned in the past that the game's being heavily inspired by Skyrim. Now you guys know where. It's literally this part. It's gonna be the skill tree and how it works, because we just think that Skyrim skill tree is one of the best in the industry, and we like it, so we want to be inspired by it. Does the oak tree relate back to the ancients? Maybe. But yeah, so the tree itself is kind of gonna be a reflection of your character's kind of spiritual journey, really. Which is why we put it where we put it. So, yeah, hopefully you guys like it. We still have to finish building it, but I think it's going to be really cool.
Okay.
I think that's everything.
And with that, we are at the end of the showing stuff. So we still have a little bit more stuff to talk about what's going to happen in the future. So,
future stuff.
Yeah, so, Sydney, if you want to go ahead and talk about how Backerkit works, because it never hurts to explain it again. Yeah.
Yep, we'll explain it again. So, will you be able to 100% the skill tree? No. Not in one playthrough.
No.
So,
New Game Plus is a thing for a reason.
Hedgie has wares. Sorry, that's a really good Skyrim joke. Good job, Danny. Okay, so Backerkit Alpha. So anybody who backed the Kickstarter campaign has had access to the game now for a few weeks. Anybody who pre-ordered through Backerkit is going to be emailed a game key on February 14th. I think we're doing midnight?
Yes, most likely.
Midnight GMT, February 14th. That's London time for anybody who doesn't know. So that's basically it. So if you purchased through Backerkit, you're getting your key through email, midnight GMT, February 14th. It is for Steam only. So if you pre-ordered for console, you will be getting a Steam key for early access, and then when full release happens, you will then get a key for whatever platform you ordered for, whether it's Steam or Switch or PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. We have decided that the alpha is only going to run for a limited time. The date when we will be ending it is still up in the air, but we have decided that you will at least get all of March. So you're going to get the last 2 weeks of February and all of March. Tentatively, we're talking about ending it April 1st, but we're still kind of discussing it, so that date is up in the air. But as of now, you'll get at least a month and a half-ish. So, and sorry to all the people on Kickstarter, you are going to have to start a new game. because we just broke the game by changing the inventory system.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a huge change, and that's why. And what are we going to have for you guys in the next 2 weeks before the Backerkit Alpha comes out is that we're going to finish the battle system, and we're probably going to go pretty quiet about it. And we're just going to kind of keep our heads down and focus on development full time.
Yeah.
And we're going to finalize the whole battle system with only your fooders. We're going to have 2 different types of enemies for you guys to fight. Now, we unfortunately had to make the decision to, on release on Backerkit, not to have Sparky be your companion in the caves, mainly because we have a whole narrative with him. So if we wanted to add him in our time frame, it would have just been him next to you, not even doing anything. So to put in a narrative, to make sure that he's part of the battle, we're going to try to push an update. And this is not something I can promise, I'm afraid, because we have a... what is it called? A milestone. We have a milestone plan with our publisher that we have to hit. And unfortunately, again, production has to come first. So, and
also, too, about Sparky is because Sparky really is the main storyline, and we've said from the beginning that we don't want to give away too much of the storyline in alpha because we want you to have fun playing it when you play the full release. So it's kind of another reason we don't really want to add Sparky just yet, is because it's going to give away a lot of the story, and I just don't want to do that.
If we decide to add Sparky, he's going to be kind of fourth wall breaking. It's going to be more like a, just your companion during a battle, but not much story, again, because story is not a focus of the alpha. It's just more of a sandbox situation. Another thing that we're going to finish is going to be the skill tree. Now, again, we're going to have limited skills on the skill tree that you can complete and get bits and pieces done in. We haven't decided which ones yet, but you'll see when the game comes out. But you do have a skill tree in the Backerkit Alpha. Now, another thing that you're gonna have, another thing that you're gonna be exploring is gonna be the first level of the caves, and that's obviously where the battles are gonna take place. We are not going to have the boss for the first level, as you saw. There was the boss door and all that stuff. So again, the final game, every level of the cave is gonna have a narrative, but it's not gonna exist here. And so you're gonna have the 2 enemies you fight during the caves, but we will allow you to clear the level out if you want to. We're going to be adding 4 characters to the Backerkit as well on release. I'm not going to say who. I guess I said Kyle was one of them.
We said one.
You know Kyle's one of them. But three other besides him. And we're going to be adding 2, well, 1 shop and 1 interactive-ish place that you can interact with to get items from. So yeah. That's going to be the area. So one of them is, obviously, we mentioned, is going to be how you get your fooders. So one of them is going to be through the shrine. The other one I'm not going to mention, but you'll see when it comes out. And another thing that you Backerkit people can look forward to, and Kickstarter people can look forward to play, are going to be all these new types of animals. So we implement the new purchase animal window thing, and we're going to have all these new different types of animals that you can play around with.
Yep. You'll get all the chickens, all the cows, and all the goats.
In addition to all of this, we have planned, and this isn't concrete, I'm afraid, but we've planned to have a build system update come out to the Backerkit, which will kind of change how the build system works, makes it a little bit better and kind of straightforward and more of a concrete foundation as well. And we're also going to have a battle system update, which is going to include the omikujis for you guys to use during a battle. And we'll see whatever else we can add with that. Maybe we can add Sparky to fight alongside you during a battle. That'd be fantastic.
Maybe.
Problem is, all of this takes time, and there's only so much of it.
Got 3 more weeks.
To
We might do 1 or 2 updates during the Backerkit release, so in March. The problem is, we kind of have to be really careful what we add, because things break the game, like with the inventory system. So we're going to try not to add anything or change anything that's going to heavily break the game. So will transport be in the backer? Probably full game. We have a bike. We've been using the bike. We've tried the bike. We've messed with it. We're not happy with it.
So yeah, vehicles are a tricky thing because physics is a tricky thing. and that's really the only reason. It has a lot of bits and pieces. So
it's
yeah.
I
naively thought it was easier to implement than it was.
Yeah, it's funny because the bike is like the first level, but as far as implementation, it's actually the hardest thing to implement. So that's why we haven't put it in yet. We probably could give it to you guys with a giant asterisk that says it might break the game because of the physics. But as far as just letting you guys have fun with it, maybe we'll do it. But I've been pretty specific about not adding it because it's kind of a mess. Will there be romance? No. The entire friendship romance calculation system won't be until the final game.
I'll have you guys know that we have fleshed that system out finally. So, and we're very, very happy with the way it works. And can't wait to show you guys how that whole thing works eventually. Yeah.
The romance system is so story oriented that, again, we're trying to stay away from the story for the alpha. So anything that heavily impacts, that heavily reveals story to you guys, we don't want to add. Because I don't want you guys to have to play through the story again. It's annoying to have to like do the whole thing over and over again. For the people who've had to restart the game now like 6 times are probably really sick of that intro scene with Gabe. Like
Absolutely. Actually, one thing that I'm personally gonna try to implement for the Backerkit people is a start new game without cutscenes mode.
I also saw somebody asked earlier if there was going to be a sandbox or a like creative mode. The answer is yes. Yeah. So that was actually one of the stretch goals on Kickstarter was to have a creative mode. So there absolutely, for the full game, there absolutely will be a creative mode where you don't do the story. There's none of that. You can just kind of go have a farm empire if you want to. So.
And that is everything. Just look forward to the Backerkit version and the relaunch with the new trailer and everything.
Yeah, there was a tentative date for announcing our publisher around the time that Backerkit gets sent out. We're reevaluating that, so we're not entirely sure yet. Hopefully, it'll be by March, but we're not totally certain just yet.
So we have a meeting with them on Wednesday, so. Yeah, we're still waiting for the answers ourselves. A skip button during cutscenes? Yeah, sure, of course, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's absolutely gonna be skip buttons. Because the whole game's being designed to be played over and over again, so that skip button's gonna be crucial. Just kind of reading y'all's comments.
Any questions we want to answer from the QA?
There really aren't any.
Q&A, not QA.
Yeah, there was one asking about if there's going to be like special dialogue from Gabe if you date Lucy, and I was like, yeah, probably. And somebody asked about whether or not we'd be able to marry somebody once you get in a relationship with them. The question is, once you get into a relationship, can we marry them later on? The answer is kind of. We're still debating how we want to do this, but the more we talk about it, the more it looks like we're probably going to be pushing marriage to a DLC. A free DLC, because we've mentioned that we want to make sure we do marriage right, and we want to make sure that everything we put in the game we put a lot of thought and effort into. And if we put marriage into the base game, it's going to be kind of a shoehorn job where we're just kind of shoving it in there, and we don't want that to happen. So in order to do marriage and do the whole long-term relationship thing justice, we're really thinking about pushing it to a DLC. Well, we are pushing it. It won't be in the base game. Whether or not it's a free DLC or a sequel is what we're still debating. And we won't know that probably for another 8-10 months. So.
Right. Just the last thing I have to say is Kilindra in the general said that we've been, talking about other farming games. And I know you mentioned something, Sydney, before. But our approach is to work with as many especially farming games as possible. So we've actually been in contact with Overmagica to add something Critter Cove and Overmagica to add something from their game to our game, and then they add something from our game to theirs to kind of it's this whole community is quite close and quite cozy, and we definitely want to make sure that you guys feel that way. So we definitely want to have connections with all these games. There are some other games we've been trying to call Coral people. Please talk to us. We love your game. We
love you guys.
We want to add stuff from your game to ours, and we want to, you know, just collaborate with you guys. Just please talk to us.
I mean, okay, to be fair, I have been talking to people at Coral Island. We just haven't finalized anything.
You haven't you've been telling me. But yeah,
I've told you.
We love all the games in this genre, and we're so happy that this genre, especially post-COVID, got so much resurgence. We got all these great games, and you know, Sunnyside kind of managed to get funded on the back of Over Magica and Coral, to be honest. If those games weren't out, I didn't have much hope in Sunnyside getting funded, and Sunnyside was a very different game back then. So thank you to every developer that works, every indie developer, but especially every indie developer that works on the farming sim genre. And we do our little funny bits of saying, oh, we have a hose in the game and you don't have to use water. It's just for the joke.
We're throwing shade.
We don't mean anything. And yeah, that's all. We do share a lot of people in the server, so you all are loved. We all love your games, and we can't wait to play them all. Actually, we have people. Sydney is a Kickstarter backer, aren't you? Like quite a high tier one as well.
Yeah, I backed Coral Island at a higher tier than I backed Sunnyside.
That's fine. I mean, to be honest, Coral's. I mean, look at Coral's campaign versus.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so you know, we're friends with, like I said, Critter Cove, Coral Island, Over Magica, also Katori Academy is a really good friend of ours. And they're actually, shout out, I totally forgot, Katori Academy is launching their Kickstarter in a few days. So if you're on our Discord, we're going to be announcing that and pushing that. We want everybody to go support her. They're doing really incredible work with that game. So keep an eye out on the Discord for that. But yeah, so we're big believers in kind of supporting the genre. I feel like the whole genre gets better when we all work together. And I think that's part of why we're being so critical, is because this genre for so long was dominated by like 2 or 3 games. And now it's getting iterated on, and people are bringing new ideas to it. And if we don't challenge the genre, it's never going to grow and change. So, you know, when we joke about, you know, the hose, or when we joke about, you know, the dumb things that this genre has always done, yeah, it comes across a little unprofessional, I guess, but it's because we're trying to push all of video games to kind of question things. You know, I mentioned FPSs earlier. One of my biggest complaints with FPS games is the fact that you have ammo boxes everywhere. Some games it makes sense, but other games, like they did with Mass Effect Andromeda, it made absolutely no sense. But it's what FPS games had always done, so it's what they did. Don't
remind me what they did with Andromeda.
Exactly, and that's part of why that game wasn't received well. And so we're really trying hard to, you know,
honestly,
be
if anything,
leaders in the genre rather than like instigators.
Honestly, if anything, we throw shade mostly through AAA games, because they really need to get their shit together. And they've been messing up for so long. And you know, NFTs is just something that they've been talking about all month long.
No.
And we're never gonna add NFTs.
No NFTs, guys.
I don't think Coral or Over Magica or any of those games are going to add NFTs, because they care about the game, not making money off of it.
Actually, I will mention, I have gotten, I think, 3 emails now about opportunities to add NFTs to the game.
If you guys want to hear more about that, by the way, go watch Callum's channel. He has so many videos that he covers scams with NFTs and just shady business practices.
Yes.
He got all that stuff sorted out. So yeah, shout out to him. Anyway, I need to go into SoundCloud and upload Cafe Narca's theme for you guys to listen to. And I think that is everything from us, if we answered everything. Just one last question that True Goblin Queen asked: will the game be moddable through Steam Workshop? The game will absolutely be moddable. I mentioned in the mod channel before that I'm actively looking through giving you guys a out-of-the-box modding thing so that you can at least replace the models in the game as a starting point. I'm sure people are going to go much deeper and change much more things about the game, but from what we can support, we will absolutely support. And yeah, we're not going to do a creation club or anything like that from Bethesda. Unfortunately, the modding scene will only be on PC. We're not going to have anything integrated like that.
And I will also mention, because it comes up a lot, the copyright question. We are supporters of streamers and content creators. So it's worked into our terms of service that if you play the game, you have our permission to make content about it. You don't have to worry about DMCA strikes from us. You don't have to worry about copyright strikes from us. We're not going to pursue that unless you do something like really egregious, which I don't think people will, but that's not something that's like the kiss of death for a development group, and we're not going to do that. So, and that counts for the music too. And Matt, I've talked with Matt about this, and he agrees that we're all about spreading the art. So if you have access to it, enjoy it, love it. You know, we don't want people pirating stuff because that sucks, but you know, share it, love it, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about copyright.
Not much
stuff.
you can do about pirating, and also if you said pirating, obviously we're not gonna have any DRM because, I'm gonna try. This is not something we mentioned with the publishers, but I personally like to release the game through GOG as well. I like their business. I like their business practices with the DRM stuff. I like the consumer-friendly stuff that you own the game. So we're gonna try to release the game through GOG as well as Steam and Epic Games. Anyway, that's the end of the stream. We've been going on for about almost 2 hours now.
Almost 2 hours.
Yeah. See you guys at Discord. Join the Discord server. You can wishlist. No, you can't pre-order anymore. You can wishlist Sunnyside on Steam right now. And we'd also have a Twitter right here. So that's the Discord, that's Twitter, and that's
go listen to Matt's music.
Next time we'll see you guys. We'll announce next time we'll see you guys. But for now, we're gonna keep our heads down and do.
February 13th.
Oh, okay. February 13th is our next stream. And until then, we're gonna keep our heads down and do a crap ton of development.
Yeah.
See you all. Yeah. Wish us luck and see you all in the next stream. Bye bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
But